Oh, my face.
All right. All right. Doing a quick one, for real. And I got to B10S6. I'm gonna attempt to stay in the lane. Attempt to stay in between the painted lines. Feel myself. I'm drifting. Fucking hard. Arctic Fox and Flash, and probably a little Strung Fuzz. This tail is just. Here I go again. Yeah, I mean, 2.5, 3 inch fibers. I got I got a few full tails a while ago, and some of them are fucking sick. I kind of got them to sell, but then, you know, I didn't because I have a hard time prioritizing money over having the right piece of dead animal at the right time in the right color. This is it. I mean, that's more or less like short, really, really nice and soft bucktail. I'm going to forego using bone dry on every tie just because I don't know. The little steps do add up, but I think some of them probably don't matter. So, um, yeah, the contents, the innards of this fly, lavender ice wing and ripple ice. Shouts out to John listening on the can for he ties his dirty little minnow fly that incorporates it's white, incorporates some ripple ice. Um, I tied a couple years ago this oh yeah the critter minnow, just deer hair and Arctic fox and little flash, and in my brain hopper I have the fully like a finesse changer made of just lavender ice wing. Something about this color, man. It just it's so shaddy. So dubbing loop, you can make a brush out of this if you want. You could make a fort. I mean, if you melt it down, heck, get some of those. Oh, I'm gonna put some flash into the tail here. Oopsies. get some of those blueprints, I mean, melt it down and reconfigure it at the right temperature, you could probably make a gun out of this thing. But we are going to make a fly, which is right in the staying right in the middle of the lane. Now I want to do like a finesse changer type thing. I don't know how it will. I think it's a good material. Doing a super dense brush. And this is a three-parter of Flash and Fur. So hook, shank, hook. All the same thing. So that means, especially with this being the size 6, we got to, it's a pretty small hook. You better set that hook on a striper. That thing needs to get down to the bend. But those things also eat the entire fly most of the time, so we're going to have a small but beefy hook in the front. That 6 is just a great, this is the underfur, it's just, gosh. So you can go pretty sparse on this. Tiny reverse. Good. The face camera went out, which is fine. Tiny reverse. I was saying something there. Size 6. Oh yeah, the size 6 with the trout. You know, fishing 15-pound fluoro as your terminal leader attached to the fly. You just don't, man, if you can bend out this hook with 15-pound fluoro, you could legitimately fish this fly right here for, God, I mean, outside of the actual hook. I've done a couple of these that worked out well. A couple of these I got new sound. Well, I re-upped on my mic. Got a new mic. Said another way, I bought a microphone. After losing one, careening into a tree while fishing from a drift boat solo. And I'm looking at this software and it says rim shot, fireball, meow, record scratch, air horn, sad trombone. We'll see if that comes through. Stay in the lane. Stay in the lane. We're back. 15 millimeter. It's just so hard sometimes to rein it in. 15 millimeter shank here. Yeah, so when you're fishing with 15-pound fluoro, like that's the, it's not the fish size that you have to worry about. It's really, you know, fishing with 25-pound or 30-pound and you're into a rock or a tree that's not moving, yeah, you're gonna you're going to bend that hook out. But really, and if you aren't aware, um, if you are, great. Setting that hook, and this is one of the reasons why pinching the barb is advantageous to boating fish. If you just get the fish to here, the leverage, the hook, to bend the hook that's where you get problems. You got to plant that thing, and once it's in, drive it home so that the pressure that you're lifting a big fish in is all the way back at the bend. At that point, Lord have mercy, these B10S's are just so strong. Size 8 is a little wimpy. But gosh, it's a tiny. I mean, it's a dry fly hook. And one of the reasons I like to go hook, shank, hook, little, very small diameter on the back is I watch brown trout eat from the belly, from the side, mostly from the belly, 90 something percent of the time. And they end up with the back, it's the same platform as the swim bug. They end up with that back hook on the inside corner of their mouth. So they'll eat it, in the middle, and maybe miss that front point on the short shank front hooks. But they get all of that, and as I set, it hits them on the inside corner with that dirty, dirty little hook. Okay, we're back. We are back. We are back, and we are right in the middle. Oop, lane departure warning. I will, when I get this in bulk or even the ice wing, take it out and soak it with my daughter's detangler spray. I use that. It's like Frank's Red Hot, man. I use that shit on everything. And then just ripstack it like this. Set it out to dry. And then I have straight fibers to use as opposed to just a wreck. And it also allows you to, I started doing that when trying to incorporate this stuff into larger bucktail flies, musky flies, and just found that when I was trying to get a usable amount, it was breaking because it was all tangled up. This is going to be no weight. Pretty, some word right there. Some word back there. Not necessarily sparse. I don't know. I guess it's just simple. Few steps. Relative to the damn thing swims. Telling you what? I believe that the success or like the how fishy a day is, the fishiness of a day is inversely, I'm going to come back about, inversely, take those guard hairs out, inversely, the fishiness of a day is inversely related to the number of times I say, tell you what, just unrelated I think partially that became a more frequent occurrence for me listening to Tom Segura's. I think it was like 2017. Or wait, no, that's not right. Maybe it is. Whatever. I think his first big special. And he's just talking about cowboys that, not actual cowboys, just people that tell you what. And I don't know, something about being on the boat, something about guiding, being a fishing guide makes me feel there's just this inner, maybe a demon that just wants to scream, like when there's nothing going on. It just wants to fucking yell. I'll tell you what. The other inner thing, generally speaking, is me trying to make myself laugh. I got myself good a couple times recently. It's bad. The fishing's really bad when I remember, like, making myself laugh by saying dumb shit to myself. Most of the time, it's legitimately in my head. So it goes nowhere. God, that's fishy. But there's just been a couple real tough days. A lot of the tell you whats to brown trout. Tell you what. That ratio is high. Number of brown trout, low. Number of tell you whats, high. Just a giant sun. Giant blue sky. And good anglers. And oh my God, the wind. That's really what I think you can hear me blocking it out. It's these days that are 20 plus mile an hour winds. That comes with a lot of unfishy stuff. Generally does not coincide with fishiness. And then having good anglers aboard the ship means that they know what the deal is. And I feel like it's definitely helpful from like an expectations perspective, but like boat vibe perspective, they know they know it's bad. They know that they're in bad fishing conditions. So I'm rowing through the flat, kind of smiling, just miserable. I mean, inescapably, it's so bad, and I am just not happy. not sleeping well. My relationship is a complete nightmare. It is very windy. All the other guides are just pounding stocked fish. And there I am, rowing my dick off in flat water. I mean, hauling just to move a little bit in nothing water. It's and so I've been in suboptimal, we'll say, conditions in life before, and so I do know that there. I think some of it. I think I've gotten partially to where I am, which isn't really saying anything, but generally speaking, I am here, and part of that, we're in the lane. Part of that has been finding humor in some of this, and so I'm rowing. With whoever's looking at me is probably seeing, probably wants to get off the boat at this point, not for the fishing, because he's worried that this might be it. But I'm just in my head. I'm singing Sugar Ray. I just wanna cry. I didn't get that last note, but you got it. I just want to cry. And I don't even know what the look on my face was, but somewhere between a grimace, definitely a smile, because I was tickled. I was tickled with myself for tickled by myself. But I did want to cry. That's not a joke. But it is those moments where you're just like, I think it's the physical inescapableness. Like, mental stuff, it's definitely on you, right? You can find a way to be miserable or be not miserable about most situations, and that is on you. That is your perspective. That is in control of it. Some things do suck more than others, but you do have a surprising amount of control on how miserable it is. Man, I'd like to think I have a little bit of control on days like that for how miserable it is, but it feels inescapable. Because it is. Wind ain't going anywhere. God, and I know every single time when I come up around that next bend and get into that flat on the next turn, if it's ripping where I am, I know it's going to be worse. So if I weren't yapping, which doesn't happen, I should say, if you are tying this fly and just ripping, it's been, I don't know, 20 minutes? Not being super scientific about flash length. Kind of all bleeds into itself, and none of it's super, it's not like I'm doing a changer with super refined taper. I'm using that Fox to create most of the taper, and flash is about the same. Quarter length of the fibers. I'm sure you could use different types of chenille. I like using brushes on flies like, or dubbing loops on flies like this, because you get to like the density between the first couple wraps and this one. You can put that into one loop. You can make the back of your loop less dense, and um, just manipulate those fibers so that it's more dense on the last couple wraps than it is on the first couple. One is not beholden. I am not using enough material, but I think I'm okay after this. Yep. Cutting those off the bottom just so fewer things get fouled up around the hook bend. Guard hairs that I pulled out. This is just, yeah, just really not a whole lot of material. I'm going to do a pretty small tie on the bottom. Again, in the avoidance of foul ups. With the avoidance of foul ups in mind. You want to make life easier on yourself. Get those wire ties. This is the AREX 7 XO774 universal curved, size 4, I believe. Yeah, size 6 is good too. I do want a little bit of metal since this is not weighted. But yeah, get those wire ties. Either put one through the eye or just get that fold occurring less near the eye. I just have it really close to the eye so that it kind of jams me up towards the end. It's a bad habit. Maybe if I talk about it. It's called self-awareness. Maybe if I talk about it and remember it, I won't do it as much. We don't like too close to the eye, and I want some strong fuzz. Quick, like a bunny. To cry. Now, in fairness to the fact that I am, hanging out with folks who are pretty cool and and rowing a boat on the river for a living, I do appreciate those items. So that isn't lost on me. It is still fucking shitty sometimes. Another strung fuzzy brush, super densely tied, created, whatever. So I'm just pulling some off. That's for tying musky bugs. Using a super dense brush to create heads. This little bit of just that little something, it really adds friction. It adds killing power. It doesn't want to move through the water. So when you stop pulling on when you're not actively pulling on your line, it really gives a good what I refer to as the kill. You'll also find that you can get some cleaner ties without coming into that hook eye. By using GSP, because you can put some whips up here with GSP, and after you put those whips in, as you tighten, and you know what we're gonna do for funsies, because it's never good enough, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna just tie GSP on for the sake of getting that hook eye clean. All right. Didn't help that my first couple wraps more or less got snapped off. But I think I like this better. Oh yeah. I was about to break it again. Oh my gosh. And having that strung fuzz on top will also help give it some up-down keel with the hydrodynamics as opposed to gravity keeling it. I think she'll swim all right. Hmm. I think you get it.
Line dance. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. God. About time I used that non-fly pole. Oh.